Husky fans, welcome into episode number 6, Homecoming Week edition of NIU Weekly. I'm Andy Garcia. Glad you could stop by and check us out this week. Fun show. Hope you're enjoying some of the homecoming events this week. Really have been a lot of events jam-packed so far. More coming throughout the weekend. I hope you're able to get some of those. If you haven't yet, plan on getting some of them coming up this week at Homecoming Week, 116th NIU Homecoming Week. Again, check out all the events, niu.edu/homecoming. If you want to see a slate of all the athletic events, go to niuhuskies.com. A lot going on. Don't forget the football game this Saturday, 3 p.m. kick. NIU taking on Ohio 30 minutes later. Then listen, get your tickets if you haven't gotten them yet, and get them now. Get them in advance. Get the greatest deals. niuhuskies.com. Get your tickets. Also, while you're there, great time to get NIU men's and women's basketball season tickets. The first exhibition game is November 1st, less than 3 weeks away. Looking forward to basketball. We had the 2023 basketball tip-off on Tuesday at Fatty's. Really great turnout, great event. Heard from Rashawn Burno and Lisa Carlsen, so that was fun. The Husky Athletic Fund and season ticket members were there on Tuesday at Fatty's. Heard from everyone, so it was a lot of fun. Again, season tickets for men's basketball start at just $80 for every game, and get women's basketball season tickets for just little as $35. Great deals. Get out to niuhuskies.com. Get on the website and get your season tickets. Speaking of basketball, we're going to talk a little women's basketball today. Head coach Lisa Carlsen, and now her 7th season, is going to join me. Crazy how time flies. She's looking forward to the season. We'll talk a little bit about that with her. We'll wrap up this week with looking back with Bill Baker, that segment. This week's topic, Bill has missed one football game in 44 seasons. We'll tell you why. We'll get the story. That is with Bill Baker today. But first things first, we're going to talk a little football. Got a big win at Akron last week. Here's Thomas Hammock and myself. The Husky football team, big win on the road at Akron, 55-14, as we welcome in Thomas Hammock. And Coach, again, congratulations on the win. You guys got out early. I thought that first drive for the offense got going early, and then they tied it up. And then after that, 41 unanswered points. What really stood out for you in the win?
Well, I thought the execution really stood out. I thought our players performed at a high level. One snap at a time. I thought when they had success, they were able to put it behind them and focus on the next play in all 3 phases. And I think for us to continue to get better, that's what we have to do. We have to focus on the process and not the outcome, and understand that outcomes are every play. And what do we need to do to reset ourselves for the process to get better?
Let's not bury the lead. I mean, the offense was fantastic, especially the run game. 380 rushing yards, including Ontario Brown, 280 yards on 13 carries, 4 touchdowns. Mac West, Offensive Player of the Week. What did you like about the running style of Ontario on Saturday?
Well, I thought, number one, he was decisive. He made quick decisions. He got downhill, and then he attacked defenders. And when you're a guy with his size and his speed, if you make the decision to attack defenders, it's tough to tackle people like that. And I thought he was really decisive downhill. And then once he started having a little bit of success, he knew what he needed to do the rest of the game, and was really proud of him and his effort. But he's got to come back and respond. Now it's the fight for consistency.
Again, that offensive line, Thomas, really opened up some holes, got it going early, and they was really strong on Saturday afternoon.
No, I thought the O-line did a great job sustaining blocks, keeping the first-level defenders off of the running game. But also I thought our ability to throw the ball early, kept us balanced and loosened people up. Obviously, I think we were 180 and 170 or something at halftime, passing and running. And when you have that type of balanced distribution, you have a chance to get the run game going.
And Rocky Lombardi, efficient game, 2 touchdown passes, didn't turn it over, had a nice game.
No, really, really good game. And, like I said, most of his work was done in the first half. And I think, obviously, if we would have had the ability to throw the ball in the second half, I think his numbers would have been a lot better. But, when you have a chance to be balanced on offense, it makes you unpredictable to a defense. They can pin their ears back and try to stop the run or stop the pass. And that allows us to stay normal down the distance, stay ahead of the sticks, and be more efficient on offense.
Couple more on the offensive side. Trayvon Rudolph with 5 targets, 3 catches, a fantastic over-the-shoulder catch. Thomas, again, just getting him the ball, finding a way to get him into that offense, and we saw it on Saturday.
No, I think he gives us a dynamic playmaker. I think he had about 50 yards receiving, 40 yards rushing, and another 50 yards as a kick returner. So, when you get 150 yards of all-purpose from a guy like that, it opens up everything else because obviously we know he's a vertical threat. They have to decide how they want to defend him, which opens up other guys or open up the run game. So, I think we have a lot of playmakers on offense. And if these guys are playing at a higher level, we can become tough to contain.
One more on the offensive side, Gavin Williams. We had him on the radio show last week, and he's just a great attitude. To finally see him get in the end zone, Thomas, he got 2 rushing touchdowns. It's like a kid on Christmas Day opening up a new Nintendo when he finally got in the end zone. He was so ecstatic, and it just showed how much work he's putting in.
No, it was good to see. I thought, me and Gavin had a conversation last week, and I told him, some things that I saw from my perspective of how he can be better. He had an excellent week of practice. Really tried to apply some of those principles. And in the game, he really, he does a lot of things that people don't see in the stat sheet. He's a tremendous third down back, does a lot of the dirty work, anything we ask him to do. And for him to have a chance to get in the end zone 2 times, I was really happy for him.
Defensively, Thomas, what stood out? Because they got the first drive. You guys got used to what they were doing offensively. And for a lot of those drives, they were 3 and out for the Zips. The defense really stepped up, especially the first 3 quarters.
No, I thought the adjustments the coaching staff made, and for the players to make the adjustment themselves. So we were unsure of what quarterback was going to play. Thought 13 made plays since he played against us last year, but then when we saw 10, we had to adjust the game plan based on the quarterback run game and all those different challenges that it presents. I thought our players handled that extremely well. They made the corrections on the sideline after the first drive, and then went out to play an outstanding game of football, after that first series.
We thought the Zips offense might give you some opportunities on the defensive side to get some turnovers. You got one. It was a not really nice interception by Nate Valcarcel, his second interception of the season. You guys continue to get those turnovers.
Yeah, no, I think we want to be opportunistic on defense. I think a couple of weeks ago their goal was to score on defense. They did that against Toledo. This week they created a turnover that set up a score offensively, and that's how we have to play. We have to play complementary football in all 3 phases, and I love the way the defense responded from the prior week, and I think hopefully we can continue to move forward with an excellent defense.
What a game for Jaden Dolphin. He gets 7 tackles, and they're all unassisted, Thomas. I mean, that's saying something when Dolphin, your linebackers, getting in there and making one-on-one tackles.
No, Jaden had an excellent game. But I can just tell you, as a whole, all of our linebackers play well.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys are competing. You can make an argument that our second unit is playing every bit as good as our first unit. So
Absolutely.
we got great competition in that room. Guys are really competing. Tyler Jackson is playing well. Devin Lafayette is playing well. So guys are making plays, and I think it's important throughout the course of the rest of the season to have 4 guys that we feel like we can send out there and go make plays.
Well, Thomas, let's talk about the Ohio Bobcats coming in for homecoming, 116th homecoming for NIU this Saturday. Bobcats 5-1 overall, 2-0 in the MAC as they defeated Kent State 42-17 last Saturday. What stands out for you as you watched the film versus the Ohio?
Excellent football team. I think they're strong in all 3 phases. Obviously, they have an experienced quarterback, in Rourke. I think he's a tremendous player. You're not going to trick him. So, we have to play sound on defense. And then their defense, I think, is one of the top 5 in the country defensively in terms of yards per game. And their defensive line is the strength of their unit. So, we have a tremendous challenge. We need to have a great week of preparation. We need to go back to the basics as far as what we need to do to continue to get ourselves in position to play well. And I think, I think our kids will be excited to play, especially on homecoming.
Looking forward to it. Hopefully a lot of fans out there at Husky Stadium on Saturday. It's NIU taking on Ohio. Coach King, congratulations on the win out of Akron. Let's get this one on Saturday.
Thank you, and go Huskies.
From Husky football to Husky women's basketball, Lisa Carlsen starts her 9th year as head coach. She joins me now. And, Coach, it's great to get you on as we get closer to basketball season. Tell me a little bit what you guys have been up to. What, starting back in June, getting everybody back on campus, Lisa, moving up to this point. How's it been so far?
Yeah, Andy, we've had a great summer. I think that this is a really hardworking group of kids. I think that they definitely have a connection and energy about them. So from the time we came back in the summer, in June, it's really been full throttle, and I like where we're at right now, and I think it's going to be a really exciting brand of basketball for everybody to watch.
Expand on that roster and the mix you have from the youth to the upperclassmen.
Yeah, I mean, lucky enough, we have 13 on the roster, and 10 of them are upperclassmen. So we're returning some experience that understand some of the expectations, and then I think the new faces that we've added are great from a complementary standpoint on what we're trying to do. So, like I say, it's been a great few months in preparation for, in my opinion, the best time of the year.
Let's talk about some of the returners coming back. Shelby, Coker, Tara Stoffker. Why are they so important to this roster this year?
Well, I think the opportunity for them to return, and again, understanding what we're trying to do. Now, from a style of play standpoint, things will be a little bit different, right? You vacate the presence in the middle with Asia, and now we're going to really go back to playing more of our traditional back in the day style of play when I first got here. We have a lot of players who can shoot the three. We're going to be a team that's going to look to really run up and down the floor and try and play with pace. And because of that, we have to be in great shape. I think Trevor has done a tremendous job of getting our squad ready to go from that standpoint. And I think this is a group that really embraces that. They want to play fast. They know what we need to do to have success. They put the extra time in making sure that we can be efficient from the three-point line. So all of those things bode well in preparation for what I hope is going to be a great year.
We talked about a lot of experience coming back too, Lisa. A squad that has been to Cleveland, that has that postseason. You went to the postseason tournament, so you had that experience. A lot of it coming back, Lisa. How can that help you this year?
Well, I think this is a group that's hungry. They know what it's like to play in Cleveland, and getting there is kind of the minimum, right? You want to get there, and then you want to be able to make some noise. We have a lot of people on the roster who have gotten there, like you mentioned, and understand what it's like in Cleveland. And then putting ourselves in position to continue to play basketball into March. I think every team around the country is going to have that same goal, and we'll be no different, and how critical every game is in preparation for what you hope is a late run in March.
Tell us a little bit more about the newcomers that are coming into the squad.
Yeah, we got a grad transfer from Arizona State, Jade Van Hefty, who will really solidify some depth at that forward position for us. Working through a couple of bumps and bruises right now, but really excited about what she brings to the table. Somebody who's competed in the Pac-12, so she understands the physicality of that. A very skilled player, a strong defender. She'll be really good in what we want to do from a system standpoint. And then we have two freshmen, Shannon Blatcher and Maddie Fay, who both come from outstanding high school programs in Montini and Frem. Local fan favorites. They'll have a lot of people in the stands watching the success that hopefully they will have as Huskies. The thing about both of those players is that they're extremely hardworking and they're smart players, right? They've been coached really well and they understand the game of basketball. So I see them grow every single day on the court. And I'm super excited about what that looks like, especially as far as their career here as Huskies.
I want to bring up some names. Jaden Marable, who's getting a lot of experience now, a veteran now in the backcourt. Talk to me about what you've seen her get better in the offseason as we get ready for the season.
I don't think Jaden's ever looked better, right? She's a very confident basketball player right now. And maybe earlier in her career, that was something that we had to kind of get out of her, right? Like understanding how effective she can be really on both ends of the floor. And now as an upperclassman, as a senior, we see her being confident from an offensive standpoint, knowing putting pressure on the paint, getting to the rim is really important, not just for her scoring the basketball, but for the other four people around her. And then defensively, being able to really get up and guard and take some chances, shoot some gaps, looking for deflections. on the defensive end. So I see her comfort level and her aggressiveness really kind of blooming on both ends of the floor.
Grace Hunter, who's been part of the program a long time, having gone through some injuries. Lisa, how has Grace been so far?
Again, I think when you look at, and I'm going to knock on wood, wherever wood is, right? Like Grace is in a great spot. She feels great. She's looked great in practice. You know, somebody who, like you mentioned, if we can just keep her healthy and allow her to play a full, 30-plus game slate as a senior, she can really, really do some things on the basketball court. She has shot the ball extremely well in the preseason. And that's what we need her to do, right? We know that she's capable of putting the ball on the floor and creating for others. But what we need her to be is a great catch and shoot three-point shooter. And she has really, again, gotten a lot better in that area as she finds comfort in that role that we need her to play.
I mentioned Tara Stoffaker earlier, but I just feel like for this season, Tara can not one just be a leader on the court, but we know she can play that all-around game, and she's going to need it this year. We need to see that improvement from her, and I think she's ready for it.
Well, and I sound a little redundant, but again, I think Tara has had a great summer in preseason as well. And as a transfer, that when you come in, sometimes it takes a little bit to get familiar and understand the system and really where do you fit in and where does my game equate to what we're trying to do. And I think you see with Tara now that all really coming full circle. She's very comfortable with the way we want to play, what we need her to do. She is for sure one of our most vocal leaders. Understanding the system on both ends of the floor. And so, like you mentioned, I expect Tara to have a great year for us.
The two Brooks, Brooke Stonebreaker, Brooke Blumenfeld. We didn't get to see Blumenfeld last year, but Stonebreaker got some playing time. And now with Asia Davis being gone, defensively, rebounding, I know Brooke Blumenfeld has had a nice offseason getting ready for this year.
You're going to see this year our player development really come to fruition in so many ways with some of the players that we're going to be putting on the court that are going to be asked to do more than they've ever done before. And both the Brooks are great examples of that, right? Like Brooke Stonebreaker has been battling some really good post players since the time she got here. And she has embraced that and she has continued to get better. And now it's going to be her opportunity to step on the floor and really be a big piece of what we're going to do. She's ready for that. She's built for that. She's gotten to the point where she can be super effective. So I'm excited to see what kind of year Brooke can have. And then Brooke Blumenfeld, same way. The redshirt year was probably the best thing for her, both physically and mentally. Just understanding the college game, understanding what we can do. Listen, that kid can score the basketball. We knew that. She's very dynamic as far as her ability to score the basketball, but really understanding systematically what she needs to do defensively and then offensively, where are her opportunities to score. And we're going to ask a lot of her. And again, she's put in a lot of work, so she'll be ready for that.
Well, you got some practice time before we get to the start of the season. I don't want to ask your expectations for the whole season. Just give me some expectations for the first maybe month of the season, Lisa.
I think the thing for us is really establishing what it means to play at the pace that we're asking them to play at. It is different. And so early offense for us is going to be a real thing. And for them to continue to feel comfortable in that situation. Now, that doesn't mean that if they miss their first shot, that we're not looking to shoot it again. We have to get in a flow, understanding that it is how we're built, and we're going to live with being a little bit streaky, but being confident enough to know that we're going to be in it all the time because of our ability to shoot the three. I think and that's more mental than anything, right? Like, are you really okay with that, coach? Or are you just saying you're okay with that? No, I'm really okay with it. Let's get up and down. Let's really create a lot of possessions. And when it all is said and done, we're going to like where we're at because we have kids who can shoot it. I'm hoping that we're competing against each other for one of the best three-point shooters out there. And I think we're getting close.
Looking forward to it. The season's not that far away. Appreciate the time and good luck as you start the season, Lisa.
All right. Thanks, Andy.
Always fun talking women's hoops with Lisa Carlsen again. Looking forward to the season. Not that far away. Time now for our Looking Back with Bill Baker segment. I mentioned Bill's only missed one football game in 44 seasons, and the man who replaced them, you may know. Here's the story on Looking Back with Bill Baker. We continue to look back at the career. Bill Baker, voice of the Huskies, 44 years. Andy Garcia with you. And you know what, Bill? I did the math. I used all my hands on my fingers, okay? At the start of 2023, this football season, You have broadcast 507 football games for NIU, but there is one you missed, and the story behind it is great, Bill.
Well, it was an intentional miss. Thankfully, knock on wood, I've been blessed with decent health throughout these last 43, 44 years. But, now the year, I think it was 92. Okay, that just kind of escapes me. But it was the tail end of the season. There was one game remaining. It was NIU hosting Eastern Michigan in DeKalb. Neither club was going to be invited anywhere in the postseason. And we had a bit of a dilemma. The dilemma being men's basketball chipped off. And men's basketball, and I think it was a 2-game tournament that same weekend. And the question was, all right, what are we going to do with you guys? Mark Lindo was working in the booth with me. Sid had been on the sidelines. And, of course, I'd been doing the play-by-play. The question was, where are you going to go, Bill? What are you going to do? And, I have to admit, I tried to manipulate it, and evidently I was successful enough, thinking, well, you know what, football, great, I understand. This season opener, early season games for the men, basketball-wise, it's a good distance away. We should probably go down and have me do those. That's 2 broadcasts down that way. And that was the decision that was forthcoming. Yeah, Bill, you go down and handle that. Now let's work on who's going to fill your chair. As fate would have it, here's a guy that would contact then Sports Information. Today it's Athletic, Communications. And what he was looking for was a spare booth, because there's a job he wanted. He wanted to cut an audition tape, and he was looking for the spare booth. At that time, we did have one. Sports Information got to talking with this guy and found out that he had some experience. So, the question might lay at him, would you be interested in actually broadcasting the game? As our other guy's going to be, our main guy's going to be down doing basketball. And he jumped at the chance, and, it's going to become, very apropos to why he did in just a moment. So in the end, he's in there. He shows up on game day. Here's Mark Lindo, used to working with just me. And this guy walks in with a staff of 3 or 4 guys who, they're handing him other scores. They're handing him notes. They're handing him stats. They're just, he just keeps on going. And the only thing people didn't really like is he kept referring to NIU as the Northern Illini. Now, I don't know why, but that's what it was. And he had, he got through the game, did a nice job, got his recording, used it to get his job. So it worked out well. And the gentleman's name, Jeff Joniak, and the job he was looking to get and got was that as the play-by-play voice of the Chicago Bears. He's still there today. And
It is so crazy.
he still hasn't sent me my tickets.
Not one ticket?
Take over on that particular day.
It is crazy to use that one game to get with the Bears. And again, really, Bill, it's even more amazing that you've only missed that one game. And I know, being in the profession, we're not feeling good every day, right? You're not feeling 100%. You even filled in for me. Remember, at halftime of a women's basketball game, I wasn't feeling good.
Yeah.
You were there, came in and filled for me because I was back trying to get some treatment. So I know it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of, you're not going to feel great all the time. How many games did you just feel like, I don't know, I can get through this? How were you able to get it and have that stability, that stamina, Bill? Because, again, you're not feeling 100% every broad.
I honestly don't remember. I really don't remember any particular game sitting down at one time and thinking, oh, please, let this be over. Except maybe, and we all have had them, at the end of a basketball game, and the difference is 25, 30 points, and you got 3 minutes to go, and you're kind of dying. I mean, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different problems you have to deal with. But I've been lucky. I mean, and you kind of suck it up. You know that.
Yep.
You know that. There have been days where I kind of watch you on the sideline, but when you get on the air, it clicks. It clicks.
No,
and you're good,
right.
and you have been. And I think we've all been able to rise to the occasion when need be.
No, absolutely, though. Going into 2023, 507 football games for Bill Baker. Only one he missed, Jeff Joniak. Jeff, you still owe Bill tickets. Will join us again next time. More reminiscing, more looking back with the voice of the Huskies, Bill Baker. That was a good one about Bill Baker and missing just one game and Jeff Joniak being the voice there. Pretty good stuff. And as we continue, we'll have more with Bill Baker in our upcoming stories in our shows with NIU Weekly. Hey, I mentioned it's homecoming week. We've got a lot of athletic events going on, not just football, volleyball, men's and women's soccer. They're all at home. Let me break down some of it. This Thursday, October 12th, women's soccer versus Buffalo, 1 p.m. Then volleyball versus Eastern Michigan at 6. So Thursday night, you've got women's soccer at 1 and then volleyball at 6 on this Thursday. Friday, October 13th, volleyball, again, hosting Eastern Michigan, 6 p.m. Football, we talked about it. NIU hosting Ohio, 3 p.m. So we'll be on the radio at 2:30 p.m. So kickoff around 3, NIU in Ohio. Women's tennis is in East Lansing. Women's golf is also on the road. Men's soccer, though, at home after the football game at the track and field and soccer complex. So watch a little football, then watch men's soccer, 7 p.m. taking on Bradley. On Sunday, women's tennis, women's golf, women's soccer, all on the road. Monday, October 16th, again, everyone back on the road with men's, women's golf, and women's tennis. And then next week, Tuesday, October 17th, volleyball at Western Michigan. And then on Wednesday, the 18th, men's soccer is at Western Michigan. Again, we appreciate you listening and watching NIU Weekly. Want to put a few other dates on your calendar for this month in October. You'll be hearing more about both of these events in the coming weeks. The first is Huskies Invest. NIU Athletics Annual Week of Giving will run from October 23rd to October 27th. This year's goal is $1 million to support NIU student athletes. There are more than 30 different funds from individual sports programs and departments to facility objects and projects, NIU Recreation, Spirit Groups, and more. You check it all out. Different areas now at NIUHuskies.com/Huskies Invest 23. Okay, so that's the first date. So I want you to know Huskies Invest, October 23rd to the 27th. Then put on your calendar Thursday, October 26th, be a night of Husky Madness at the NIU Convocation Center. Meet the 2023-24 NIU men's and women's basketball teams. Plus, there'll be contests and giveaways, including cash giveaways for NIU students, a Halloween costume contest, and more. So save the date. It's going to be a fun night at the Convo to get ready for NIU basketball. That is on Thursday, October 26th, Thursday night at the Convocation Center. Again, thanks again for watching. Hope you're enjoying homecoming week. If you haven't gotten out to any events, get out there. Get out there and have fun, as this is the 116th NIU homecoming. Hopefully NIU football can continue the winning streak, get a win on Husky Stadium turf versus Ohio. Looking forward to it. Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe to this NIU Athletics YouTube page. Always come back, more highlights and videos and more NIU Weekly next week. Thanks for watching. Until next week, go Huskies.